Hey, welcome neighbors to Miracle Farm 1927 Homestead. And out here tilling up where the sorghum was, big sorghum field. Guys out here, we're subsoiling it. It's real dry, as you can see. You can see where he's been. It's just real dry. So we're not going to try to plow it, but we're going to plant some cover crops today where stuff's been growing. We're going to, so we can build back up the soil. We're not sure where our sorghum field is going to be next year. So anyway, he's just going through ripping up the dirt, just trying to loosen it up some. You can see he's just barely able to get that subsoiler in the dirt. We even put a new like the cutting part, I don't know exactly what it's called, but anyway, put it on there, and it still isn't, even where stuff's been growing. We had this, this is where it was actually tilled up for, I had this tilled, it was ready to put sorghum in, but we only did one vat this year, so we didn't need that much. But anyway, it's just hard and dry, so we're not even going to try to put a turning plow in it. It probably won't do that much good, so we're just going to hook the disc hair. I might have to put some weights on my disc hair, but put the disc hair on it and go over it a few thousand times.
Then we got Righteous out here on the big G, and he's running the disc where Joey has already subsoiled it, and we're doing both sides just because the land needs some cover crop on it. It is really dry out here, and we are going to go ahead and water whatever we plant. They say here in North Carolina, in this area, we are in a moderate drought. I don't think that's true. I would call it severe. Wells are drying up. The water where we water the cows is receded at least 8 feet. So that's pretty moderate. And we've just never been able to get on land like this in the fall. It's usually too muddy. this is the vine garden where we grow our sweet potatoes and pumpkins. See one little still laying there? We're going to cover crop this one just a little bit different. We don't want the clover on this one because it would be hard to get rid of it to put the pumpkins and vine vegetables in here. The clover would just take over. So the only thing we're going to put on this one is the wheat, but then what's going to kill the wheat is the chickens. We're going to run the chickens through here, and not only will they kill the wheat, they'll plant wheat back. So it'll never be uncovered. This ground hadn't had any manure or anything on it in several years because the farmers that we used to get all of our manure from started using the graze-on their hay, which meant that the graze-on would be in their compost. So we've just not been able to use it because that kills all your stuff in your garden. All your broadleaf things in your garden. So we're making our own green manure, our own cover now, and it's something new we just hadn't been doing. This is the first year we've really got serious about cover crops. Now the one thing about this little plot here is it's had a lot of manure on it. Not just the chickens, so it is working up a whole lot nicer than the field that Righteous is on with the big G. That's so cloddy. See, this is just breaking up really nice, ready to accept the seed. No rain in the forecast. Hadn't had rain in more than 6 weeks, and it is dry.
All right, Daddy's running the G now. Getting this little patch done. And Papa's been sitting here watching him. This is the garden. The G model would jump a clod, and then the disc would jump it and it would finally bust up. But this is a little bit better down here. Just so dry. Right there. He's disking up some good taters. That's it, about eating size right there. He's disking up some pretty big ones. I don't know which ones them are. Anyway. G's running good. Ain't missed a beat. I ain't got a, forgot to show y'all that. I ain't got an air filter on it because it has an oil bath air filter, but it's leaking. It's got a crack in it somewhere, so it gets water in it. It rusted out the last carburetor, so I got it pointing the other way. I got it pointing down, and you can see it. I got a sock on it because it needed a filter on it, so I put a sock on it. He's done with this field. I was just educated on this. That right there is what you would call a finishing disc, and you really need like a disc bog for this, since we just subsoiled it. You really need a disc bog since it's so dry, but it done pretty good. It's good enough for what we're doing. But well, that is actually called a disc, a finishing disc. It's pretty light. We need to put some. It's got weight racks, but we ain't got really nothing to put on it. So anyway, this little piece is done right here. It looks pretty good. Like I said, it's got a few clods in it, but
yeah. So to finish out what we were talking about with the cover crop for sorghum, today we're putting our cover crop on the main garden, and it's wheat. And we still have had not any rain, so we will be watering this in. We're supposed to get some rain later in the week, so we're going to be supplementing it. But Righteous has a little seed sower here, the Cyclone seed sower, and I'll get Miracle to follow him along, but all you have to do is pour it in there. And it's got a little adjustment here on the side that opens up a gate underneath, which puts it on these little platforms, and then he's got the little gate closed right now, but as the seed falls, so he's going to drop some seed on it, and then this is going fat and it flings it. So that's how this little thing works. Got this at a sale for like $3 or something like that. Really great deal. So the one we had an antique one, but the canvas had rotted off of it. I think we still kept it because all the mechanisms still work. So he's going to start sowing, and we're sowing pretty thick because this wheat's old, and we want to make sure enough of it comes up. What's going to happen with this, it'll have a nice green mulch of wheat on it, and the chicken's job is to come across here and put their fertilizer down, and they'll eat a lot of the wheat, but it's okay because it's just a crop that will terminate anyway. We're putting ashes on it from the wood stove, and the compost from the barn's going to go on it too. So the garden plot gets a lot of nutrients because this is where we always put all the stuff from the barn, and we just have enough from the barn to put it on this plot. But that's why on the sorghum land we'll be putting some clover down too, plus running the chickens through. But there'll be no compost from the barn. This is the remnants of the stacks of the, I don't know what you call it, what came out of the cane. This is all the cane all squeezed up, and here you can see some of the roots. That's just going to rot back down into the soil, just continuing to feed the soil. We have sown the wheat on the sorghum field, and now we're going to sow some clover. It's late, but we are going to water it in, and if we could just get up a little bit, that'll be great. Beautiful seed. All sowed with wheat and clover. And this over here was our sorghum patch last year. This over here will be it next year. And we're going to have to water it in. We'll see what kind of growth we get coming on in the next week or two. I'll be giving you pictures.